guys, the Quack45 here, and today I am a computer hacker again, because my audio drivers decided that when I had to reinstall Windows, that they didn't want to record my microphone at full volume. I didn't know this, and I just found out, well, I didn't just find out, I found out, and then I've been spending the last, hour or something, last few hours trying to get this to record my voice again. So I'm a bit annoyed, but I'm going to be re-recording this uplink because the previous one is next to impossible to hear anything. So yeah, let's get started. This is uplink. If you didn't watch the previous video or you couldn't hear, which is fairly what's the word? Respectable, I guess. I don't know. I'm not surprised, I guess I can say, that you couldn't hear it. But anyway, I'm gonna be playing this again. Uplink is a game where you are hired as a sort of hacker into a corporation that manages, that does this big hacking corporation, and you level up and you make money for doing missions, and you upgrade your computer and upgrade your software and everything. And I'm gonna get us started. Yep, it has all of these, this game takes place in the dial-up modem era, so that's why it's I have to dial into everything. You have to dial in when you play this game and stuff like that. It's a fun game. I've played it quite a bit. My main save file, which you may have seen, was the Quack45. I'm fairly far, and I've robbed a bank on that, and therefore I have a lot of money, and I've fully upgraded my computer. I'm just creating this account called commentary, and I'm just putting the password as password. Because it's not really that important what you have the password, because nothing will hack into it, and you can just auto-enter it, so it's not really that much of an issue. So I'm going to be skipping the tutorial, as I've already played this game plenty, because the tutorial can just be a bit annoying. I mean, it's not really that annoying, but if you've already played the game, it's not really necessary. I'm not going to run the tutorial. Okay, so I'm just gonna quickly grab file deleter and delete the tutorial because it takes a bit of storage. Alright, so our first mission is to connect to the uplink test machine and what's the word? And just copy a file from it and then email it back to Uplink so they know that I've completed the test mission and they can give me a full rank and I can take missions. But before I'm gonna do that, as you can see, I just have file copier and file deleter. I don't have any other software, and that you wouldn't be able to get into anything because you need to be able to get the password for it, and there's also a trace that will happen if you hack into something, and you don't want to be you want to see how far the trace is. So I'm going to buy the trace tracker V2. I could buy V3, but I don't particularly like the way V3 works, and I can't afford V4 yet. So I bought the trace tracker V2, and I need a password breaker. Let's purchase that. Now I've got the right software that I need. I'm just gonna get the trace tracker. Yep. Oh, something's happening. There we go. Trace tracker, just gonna have that running. So when they start tracing me, this is gonna tell me it's gonna say, as you can see, it says no traces right now. Actually, the mouse I don't think appears. I haven't figured out how to make that appear. But the mouse doesn't appear. So if you look at the bottom right corner, it says no traces. That's because I'm not in the middle of being hacking into something. Once I start hacking into something, it will they'll start tracing me as long as the computer that I hack into has a monitor. And that trace tracker V2 tells you the percentage of the trace. V3 will tell you an estimate every few seconds. It'll update with an estimate of how many seconds it'll be until they trace you. V4 has a real-time countdown, and V1 just tells you if they're tracing you, if they're not tracing you, and if they've completed the trace. So, this is my gateway. This is where I play from. Or this is the gateway. This is where you play the game from. And this is the Uplink test machine. As you can see, it's green. So there's a mission there. So what you'd think to do is to do that. As you can see, there's just one straight connection from my gateway to the test machine. That's a bad idea because when you connect to something, the monitor will start tracing you or if you start doing something suspicious, the monitor will start tracing you. That can cause issues. If they trace you all the way back to your gateway, the Uplink test machine just kicks you off, but if you do this with an actual mission in the game, your gateway gets destroyed and you have to create a new username and start over again. So you need to bounce your connection. So I'm gonna bounce my connection to InterNIC. That's what I always bounce to first. Then to Uplink Public Access Server. Then to Uplink Internal Services. Then to International Bank. Then to the test machine. As you can see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 places that I have bounced to until from my computer, from my gateway to the machine that I'm hacking into. So it'll give me some extra time to hack in. So that's just telling me that this is the test machine, blah 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 blah, and I'm gonna get the password breaker, give it full CPU power because I want this done fast, and click code, and it's going to start cracking the password. As you can see, the trace has begun, and it says trace at 20%, and the password has been hacked. So the access file server, I'm going to use my file copier, and the file that I need to steal is uplink test data, so I'm going to get that downloading, and just wait for that to finish downloading. Then I'm going to insert it into these memory banks, and then, as you can see, it's done, so I'm just going to insert that into my memory banks. And that is done. So that's the mission complete. I just need to reply and attach that test data. Normally you would have to, at least, for the first few missions you don't need to worry about this, but for the later missions you have to worry about, deleting your traces, so you can't be, traced back. As you can see, I left logs on the test machine, which means that they know the IP that connected to them, and they know that was when the hack occurred, so they'd trace that back to the International Bank, which was the IP that I used to connect to there, and then they'd find the logs there, bounce back to the internal services, find the logs there, bounce back to the public access server, find the logs there, bounce back to InterNIC, find the logs there, and bounce back to my gateway, at which point I would lose. The test machine doesn't do this, and the first few missions, computers won't do this, just so you can get some money to get the uplink, or to get a log deleter. So I'm going to connect into the internal services system, the same place I bought my software, and I'm going to go to mission list. I'm just going to grab a couple of these missions. It's not an automatic, yep, and boop, okay, let's just do that. Okay, now I've got 3 missions, so I'm going to do them in order. I have this computer. To hack into the BioWare Associates internal services machine, I need to steal the file biodata 88743, so let's bounce my signal around. I'm going to bounce it because I took some other missions. I have some other places to bounce to because that's helpful because these computers, once you get to the actual computers, like the test machine tracks you very slowly, but these computers will track you a lot faster. So the more bounce points you have, the better. So let's get this started. And it's just going to be doing this. This is a bit longer of a password. As you go through the storyline, you'll encounter more powerful computers that will have more powerful passwords. I'm getting a phone call. I'm just going to ignore that. You'll get more powerful computers that will trace you faster. And I just need to find the file 88743. So I'm going to download that. And done. and I'm gonna disconnect. I left at 50%, which is fairly good. And now something I'm not gonna do is I'm not gonna send that mission in first because I can keep this bounce point. The more bounce points you have, the better. So I'm gonna keep that. I'm gonna keep all of these until I've completed all 3 missions. At which point, I will resolve the missions and I will have the bounce points deleted. So let's get on to yeah, MediaNet. This is the right one. Okay, so let's get the password cracker in and give it full CPU power. CPU power, when you start out, is really not too important. I mean, you don't really have to worry about it too much at the moment because you won't be running much else than the trace tracker and password cracker. Oh, nice. They haven't. There we go. They didn't start tracing me until I came in. Sometimes I guess they do that. I need to get meddata 55857, I think it was. Okay, where is it? 55857. Yep, let's get that. Okay, download it faster. There we go. That's a big file, I guess, or something. Oh, come on. 55857. Go. Oh, it's stupid. Okay, that kind of broke there a bit. 55857. Let's just get that again. Luckily, it's fairly small file, fairly fast download, so I didn't. With most computers, with the more powerful computers that are later game, that would have been an issue if if it hadn't downloaded. But luckily, these are very simple, fairly weak computers, so that's not really that much of an issue. I have the time to waste where having the file not download correctly isn't that much of an issue. So if that was a more powerful computer, you'd have to generally disconnect and then reconnect because you wouldn't have time to download the file again. But I did have time in that case. So this is just the third one. As you can see, I'm hacking into things like 4Com Tech, and I'm working for Interware Industries. These are all in-game companies that you work for. Some of them will have. There's actually a storyline. Some of them will have importance in the storyline. There's basically when you get to the later part of the storyline, there's a sort of a protagonist company and an antagonist company, and I believe you can either. I haven't gotten to this point, but I believe you can either choose to work for the protagonist or work for the antagonist. Alright, so they need the bio data. There you go. These people need the med data. There we go. And these people need the food data. There we go. And these are all, this one is credits. This is an upgrade, so I've reached the next rank. And that's credits. I have enough money for the software that I want to buy. I think you can actually. Oh yeah, you can. That's nice. Okay, so I get to keep those bounce points. I didn't know that. So I have enough credits for a log deleter. So I'm gonna grab that. I'm gonna get the V4 because the V4 is untraceable. Anything lower than V4 will leave behind like a mark that can be like traced, sort of, I guess you could say. They can reverse that log and essentially screw you over. This intra-NIC is not equipped with a monitor, so that means that you can't get into trouble. You can't get traced for trying to hack into it, and they never change the password. It's a very easy system to get into. That and the uplink, whatever it's called, the uplink, what's it called? Test machine. That's also a fairly easy computer to get into, as if you get because if you get traced, it's not that much of an issue. It's just it kicks you off. So yeah, let's delete those files and done. I left behind my connection established log because if you don't leave that behind, then it just shows a phantom connection closed log for your IP, which can cause some suspicion, can be like somewhat confusing. And if someone's looking at InterNIC, the logs of InterNIC, trying to figure out who hacked them, something suspicious like that can leave behind a bit of or can give them a good lead to find you, and can also cause issues for you because you'll be traced quicker. Whew. So yeah, that's Uplink. I hope this video has worked because I had to turn up my microphone recording volume. But yeah, that's Uplink. I hope you enjoyed watching. I enjoyed making it. I'm considering doing a series of this. I don't know if I said this. I did say in the previously uploaded video. This is a great game to do a series, to do a series of, because it has the leveling and it has the storyline. And it's just a generally great game to do a series of, because it's just got all of the features and the elements that work well for that type of thing. So, thanks for watching, guys, and bye.